Alright folks, we are back on the 2014 Jeep Wrangler. Kind of go over some of the issues I had trying to spray this out and what we're going to do to fix them. So, one of the things I kind of ran into that I didn't like at the end was that the back of this grill wasn't painted. It just looks like the job's not quite complete, so I'm going to go ahead and paint the back side of that. I got the rubber strip, the seal taped off. Also in the headlight here and in the fog light, the turn signal light, the paint's pretty thin, just not quite what I'm looking for. I'd like to have a little bit better job done. So we're going to fix this stuff up. I bought another quart of the Raptor liner. If you're keeping track, that would be the 6th quart. Should have really done it with the 5th quart that I already had earlier when we painted the rest of the Jeep, but I didn't really notice that it was thin until it had set up, and at that point the first batch was dried out, or it was kicked off, so we couldn't use it anymore. So what we're going to do is get this stuff wiped down, dust it off, and then we'll go ahead and get the spray ready and spray it in. You can retouch Raptor liner after 24 hours. We are well past that. It's actually been about a week since we sprayed the first part of the Jeep. What we'll do is I've already kind of roughed up all the surfaces and wiped them down once with acetone. I'm going to take an air gun, blow off all the parts, and then wipe them down one more time, and we should be ready to spray this grill and these window brackets. They're a little thin on the edges than I'd like to see, and we'll get paint all the way around so that it looks like a nice finished product if somebody does take this off to take the windshield down. We already did the windshield frames, so if you take these brackets off, it will look just fine. But I really want to make sure that this bracket looks complete, like a factory part with the blue Raptor liner. So give me a second, I'll get the air gun, we'll get them all dusted down, and then I'll wipe it down one more time with acetone, and we'll be ready to spray. See here, I tried to bring the wires onto the brackets, onto the main wires for the grill. I guess my idea is that maybe they won't spin around as much as I'm spraying them. I'm not sure if it'll work, but you guys will get to see along with me if it works. So my rag did kind of come apart in a paper towel, so I'm just going to wipe off the big chunks, and then I might come back by with one more air dust off, and then we should be good. Alright folks, one of the things I thought maybe I'd go over, since I have to spray this again versus the first time I maybe didn't go over it well enough, is that when you buy a kit for a Raptor liner, if you buy one of their 4-quart kits, it usually comes with the 4 quarts of the bed liner, enough activator for 4 quarts, and since I'm doing the tintable, I got a tint. The shop I bought it from sends it with their label, and I need to shake this up. But in case you're not familiar with Raptor liner, let's see here, this is a white base, so this doesn't really have any color to it. If you buy the black bed liner, it only comes black. It's not tintable, but this is the tintable kind. It says so right here on the bottom of the bottle. Tintable to your specified color. So I've got the tint right here. It's the correct style of tint that goes into it. There's only a certain type of tint you can use. This has to be for a urethane paint. So I'm going to shake this up, then I will put it in the Raptor liner, shake that up, and when I'm good with all of that, then I'll put the hardener in to kick off the quart, and I'll hook it to the paint gun and be ready to spray. The paint gun I got with my blue kit for the Jeep came with a regulator on the gun. There's also a regulator on my air compressor already, but we've got the gun, with the regulator, so I just hook my air hose to this, and then the bottle of course goes right there. And this one has an adjustable tip, so the amount of distance that you have in here changes the spray pattern. So I've got it set pretty much where it was the first time we did it. But one of the big things that's it's important to do when you're spraying this bed liner is that you get the consistent distance and air pressure. So we've got consistent air pressure with the regulator here, so it only lets so much air pressure through. I believe I was running right around 60 psi last time. I didn't change the setting on the regulator, so it should be ready to go to spray this grill again and those brackets. But then we had to do the distance, so I'm going to try to do my best to replicate the distance that I used last time to give it the same kind of finish. The nice thing is these items are kind of like accent pieces anyways, so if they have a slightly different texture, I don't think it's going to be the end of the world. But I'll do my best to try to match them up. But what we're going to do is shake up the tint, get the tint poured into the RAPTOR liner, shake that up, and then we'll add the hardener and get ready to spray. Try to rotate the bottle as you're shaking it, that way you get out of the bottom and out of the edges. You might not be able to get it all, but at least try to get it as thoroughly mixed as possible. So another tip is to keep your hand over the cap, just in case the cap is loose, you don't wear all the paint. So I've got it just snug down, and then I keep my hand on it when I'm shaking. So now that we got it shaken up, I'm going to go get the camera back in position to watch it spray, and catch you guys over there. Alright folks, so a couple days after we sprayed the grill and the hinge brackets here, we got them installed, and you can see it just brings the Jeep all together. It looks pretty consistent. The texture is very consistent between all the pieces that we sprayed, the body the first time and then these accessories the second time. So did a pretty good job getting the same air pressure and the same distance when spraying it. I'd like to bring it in closer so you can see the texture and how that looks, for you to be able to decide if that's a look that you'd like on your Jeep. I can say from personal experience that on my daily driver, which is a two-door Wrangler JK, that it's nice to be able to take it on the highways every day and not worry about stone chips, and also on the weekends to go out, hit the trails and not worry about scratching your paint. This stuff is very durable. I've got some friends who have the magnetic armor they have to put on their side of their Jeep before we go off-roading, and that seems like a big hassle that I don't have to deal with. So let me get you in close, and I think that's going to bring the end of the video.